Hello and welcome back to Rain Check. We will be continuing where we left off, which, if you recall, is after we found out what happened to Theodore and Ro. We discovered that Ro is alive and well. Theodore is also alive. Unfortunately, Ro has lost his memory. He suffered some severe wounds from, shooty shooty bang bang. And he lost a lot of fluids. Um so that had an impact in his overall health. He also had some shattered bones and some other stuff. Basically, he was worse for wear. Um, Theodore was okay. He, I'm assuming, just got scraped or something because like he's walking and he was only on crutches for like a few days or like yeah, it made it sound like it was only for like 2 days. Um, it has been a week though, I think, or week-ish. Javier apparently visited them once it happened and then just disappeared. Um, Monty has apparently been spending time with Theodore, and while Theodore has been, I guess, basically sitting by the bedside of Ro this entire time, because apparently he's like love sick with him, love stricken, I guess is a better word. Um, I'm still a little confused about how quickly he got so attached to him, but like whatever. I'll have to suspend belief. Um but yeah, that's basically what's been happening. In the previous part, Theodore basically, after finding out that Ro doesn't remember him or anything like that, he's decided that he wants to figure out who attacked them. What how is the snow leopard connected to this incident? And he unfortunately gets stuck with Monty. So it's Theodore and Monty figuring this out. And if you remember Monty, you know that he's kind of a wimp. Well, not a wimp. He's just well, yeah, he's kind of a wimp. He also has a heart condition. But yeah, apparently the both of them are gonna try to investigate. And I believe Theodore will be going to Javier's house apartment to see what the fox has been doing. So yeah, that's probably where we are going to pick up from. So yeah. Anywho, so without further ado, let us continue rank check. I don't understand. Am I missing something? This doesn't account for what I'm thinking. I know that I'm close. The facts all seem to be pointing in a specific direction, but I can't seem to reach a clear conclusion. I stare at my screen again, rubbing my temples, trying to see if there's any flow in my logic. I'm getting nowhere with this. Shaking my head, I clear the document that I've been working on out of frustration. Let me try this again. There must be something that I'm not accounting for. What happened that night was definitely not a coincidence, and yet, how could we have conveniently run into Magnus of all people? Then Ro and Theodore were attacked by an unknown group when they were trailing the snow leopard? Highly implausible. And to top it all off, how was I able to join along Magnus's business meeting so easily that night? I shiver at the thought of that lustful white fox, as he's the first one that comes to mind. I try to suppress the unimportant details that had transpired that night, instead trying to recall the facts that I had managed to coax out of him. He had a meeting with someone at that speakeasy, but they never showed up. And that's why he was looking for someone. Ah, that brute. I rub my shoulder at the thought of Magnus, reminded of how he manhandled me while he was escorting me around. Why was he so persistent in inquiring me about the bigwigs? I thought all these investors and philanthropists would know each other somehow. It doesn't make any sense. Why was I chosen out of everyone there? What about the person that he was meeting up with? And what the hell was that contract that Magnus needed me to co-sign with him? Why was I needed as a witness? Something definitely isn't adding up. Or rather, it's like there's something contradictory that I just can't point out. what do they have in common? The obvious answer would be the speakeasy, but that's the place Lawrence was tasked to check out. And speaking about that wolf, I presume he's back to his vacation now that our investigation is suspended with Roe in the hospital, since he hasn't been replying back to my emails. Strange that I still haven't heard back from Andrew. I know he's busy, but it's not like him to be missing from action like this, especially with all that's been happening. Maybe I should swing by the office tomorrow to check up on him, as well as to give him the evidence that I've gathered. I stare at my barely functioning phone as I stretch out my limbs from exhaustion, rolling my eyes as I spot the time. It's already so late in the day that there goes my plans for finishing up any report. I wonder who that could be. I'm not expecting any visitors or packages today. I stop to check the security cameras that I had installed and spot Lawrence smiling back at me through the lenses. What the hell is he doing here? This better be good. Good afternoon, Javier. Long time no see. Lawrence? Where have you been? I've been trying to reach you through email since yesterday. I thought you went on vacation. Email, Javier? I would assume someone like you would stray from using such primitive technologies. You know we do all our communications through the proxy. Yes, I would've, but my phone's been... The wolf shakes his head, cutting me off, then strides fully inside, brushing past me. Hey, what exactly do you think you're doing? Lawrence, I would appreciate some kind of explanation before you carelessly waltz in here and announce yourself. Well, luckily for you, that's exactly what I came here to do. He sits down on my sofa, lounges, and glances around my living room, inspecting my decor meticulously. Did some red decorating here, I see. Rather drab, but I like it. The gray fits you. What? Why the long face on your face? It was a compliment. I continue to ignore the wolf and pay no mind to his banter. Not even a thanks? Fine. Why don't you tell me what you've figured out so far? I roll my eyes and decide to go along with Lawrence's ego. Well, with the main investigation not much, I decided to suspend that for the time being. Oh? And why's that? With Rose's current condition, it would be wise to take a step back and reassess our priorities. Ah yes, I was meaning to visit that maroon wolf, but I don't think that would be such a good idea, would it? Anyway, what exactly is the plan of action now? I'm not quite sure at the moment. There are things that I've managed to uncover and I'm not sure what they might mean just yet. For example, the Delta Antarctic expedition. He tilts his head curiously. I managed to accompany the CEO the night that we were at the speakeasy. Magnuson? Yes. Interesting. Go on. You don't seem as surprised as I thought you'd be. Well, with how things are going these days, this hardly comes as a surprise, would it? Regardless, he said that he was waiting for someone to accompany him, but they never came. Instead, he asked me if I wanted to join him, in which I leaped at the opportunity to learn more since he's heavily affiliated with a group of investors at TAI. Lawrence gives me a small, patronizing nod. Very nice. What kind of information did you acquire? Besides the fact that the fox has an enigmatic taste in men, I was able to take a photo of the contract that he needed to sign when no one was looking. The contract itself looks pretty particular, and I found it strange that I was there only as a witness for the signing itself. What was in the contract? Investment and partnership for various companies involving the Big Five, which I had only briefly heard about in passing. I pause, waiting for a response from Lawrence. That's strange. He isn't reacting at all to this information. Furthermore, I was able to learn from Magnuson that whoever set up the meeting with him at the speakeasy that night went by the name Helix. Apparently, Helix had contacted the Fox weeks prior to TAI and said that they wanted to discuss an interesting opportunity with Magnus as well. Helix. What an interesting name. Lawrence shakes his head and gives me a small round of applause. Well done, well done. I do have to say, you have a knack for finding the most interesting leads to these sort of things. Unfortunately, it feels like it's completely irrelevant to the assigned case that we were tasked to complete. Maybe, maybe not. I feel like I'm close to bridging the gap with all these loose threads connecting. Oh, do share? Well, for starters, the harbor fire and Cypress both point at Blackout, which loosely connects to the power plant. That in turn points itself to the snow leopard that we met there, and according to Theodore, they were also there at the speakeasy when I left. Magnuson was also at the speakeasy that night, which doesn't feel like a coincidence. I stare back at Lawrence, his attention fixed to the heavy rain outside the window instead. Well, your thoughts? Lawrence nods slowly as he turns to face me. Not bad. You've gotten a lot of intel, but it's a pity it doesn't really matter. What do you mean? Just to remind you, our investigation is around the harbor fire that transpired years ago. Not to say that what you've deduced isn't meaningful, but wouldn't it be more effective in finding information directly related to the fire itself? I glare at Lawrence, stung by his patronizing tone. What are you implying? That we've been missing the mark the entire time? No. I think you've been doing quite exceptional with the given leads and information presented to you. But I believe that we're about to break this case wide open, and I require your assistance. Well, if you had critical information like this all the time, why wait until now to say it? Out with it already. He flashes his classic shit-eating grin at me and smirks. I found the survivor. What? You did? My voice is a mixture of surprise and disbelief, which clearly seems to offend Lawrence. He sighs and smiles, clearly sensing my skepticism. Yes, I spent the past couple of days meticulously tracking them down. But thanks to Rudy, I managed to pinpoint their location by the cliffs. The cliffs? Do people still live there? Explain your methodology. How did you track them down? But of course. Nights ago, when we were at the speakeasy, I spotted a suspicious figure exiting the building. That's when I noticed a particular mark along their arm, devoid of fur, so I decided to pursue them with the help of the glasses. I had gotten close enough to tag a tracer onto their coat before I heard Theodore in the distance. He reaches into his coat and takes out two pieces of paper encased in a thin film of plastic, one much larger than the other. Why don't you take a look at the larger one? I took that yesterday. He passes me the papers, in which I study them carefully. The larger one contains an image of an extremely blurry figure in a distinct-looking neighborhood. And I presume that this is the alleged survivor. I can't even make out their full figure from this. Of course it is. Their location stabilized there yesterday and hasn't been moving since until the tracker had run out of battery. I think it's safe to say that the survivor resides there, won't you agree? Listen, I took the liberty of staking out their place. To capture that photo, you can hold the applause. And as for the smaller photo, that's what their apartment looks like based on the most recent street view. Okay. And we're sure this is the survivor? Of course. Are you doubting me? I told you that they were most likely to show up at the speakeasy, and they did. There's even a photographic proof in your paws. But where did you hear that from? The boss? Precisely. It was the boss himself that delegated the task to investigate the speakeasy. Remember, Javier, not all leads end up fruitful. That's why we're working as a team. I shake my head, squinting at Lawrence in annoyance. Speaking of which, I've been trying to contact him, but I've had no luck. Did he not tell you? He's on leave. He mentioned it to the people in the office earlier this week. But that's right. I forgot you don't like to come into the office, do you? Well, aren't you glad that I'm here to tell you then? I don't appreciate that comment. You know that I get things done more effectively at home. Of course you do. But hey, the more power to you. So what happened anyway? Where did he go? And more importantly, when's he coming back? I have things that I need to report to him. He didn't specify, besides the fact that he'll be out of the country for the rest of the month. I pocket the photos and give the wolf an inquisitive look before sighing. I. Yeah, these photos are important. Thanks for stopping by to. Er, sorry, I've been on edge recently. I assume you want me to look into the survivor if you're giving these photos to me? Bingo. And of course, it's not to say that I wouldn't or couldn't do it myself, but you're more suited for this field of expertise. His legs bump against the table beside him, knocking over the items on top as he tries to get up. Hey, watch it, you! My apologies. You know how it is with tall people. But maybe you wouldn't. He crouches down to pick up the fallen items and places them back on the table while I shake my head at his clumsiness. Anyway, I won't want to overstay my welcome. Don't try to get too caught up in what's already happened, and let's focus on wrapping this case up. If you can manage to dig up more information on the survivor as soon as possible, that would be lovely. I don't know if they're going to be on the move again. Alright then, but what about you? What are your plans? I think I deserve a break, wouldn't you think so, Javier? You should learn from me after this case is over, and take a break. I promise you'll be less grumpy. Hmm. I take the photos out to examine them once more, this time studying the details more closely. So this is the apartment complex, and this is the blurry figure. It kind of looks like they were looking at the camera, because if you look at the face, you can kind of see the shining of the eyes. You know, with animals, if you take a picture of their eyes with like light reflecting on their face, it'll like shine. Hmm. Oh, thanks. The cliffs, huh? That is certainly a possibility. Living in a place that's secluded and run down to stay out of sight from the general public. And how the hell did he get images like this? Hmm. Maybe I should start making another pair of Rudy for myself. They're so dark and grainy, though. I'll need to enhance these later. Maybe I should give Lawrence more credit for his efforts. And here I thought that I was onto something with a snow leopard and blackout. All this time I've been skirting around the real issue. I exhaled a deep sigh, my gaze lingering on the window, first towards the hospital, then drifting to Theodore's neatly arranged luggage tucked away in the room's corner. I should visit them, but there's nothing that I can do. Besides, there are more pressing matters demanding my attention right now. Maybe later. My eyes scan the map on the screen, trying to narrow down the search space. So this is not there. Not there either. Where could it be? I hold up the photos against my monitor, hoping to find a match to where the photos could have been taken. The street view of these neighborhoods looks desolate and barren. Frankly, I'm even surprised that this area is updated as recently as it is. I take it back. Maybe I should be giving less credit to Lawrence. He went out of his way to scout out this location, but didn't even bother telling me the address. Where the hell is it? Countless minutes pass by as I scour through every single path in the street view, trying to match up the photo to the image on the screen. Tss, molesto. I get up from my chair and stretch, my tail and back aching from sitting for God knows how long. I'm getting close. I can feel it. I just need to pinpoint this building. Again? Don't tell me that damn wolf is back again. I don't know how Ro hasn't ripped that guy into pieces yet. I roll my eyes and hop over, feeling annoyed that I'm being disrupted again. I open the door without checking, confident that it's Lawrence standing on the other side with this stupid sly grin. Theodore? Hey, Javier. And I'm here too. Uh, you remember who I am, right? Yes, Monty, with an I. How could I not remember your loud demeanor? Haha, sweet. You. I understand. But what's he doing here? I brought him with me because he remembered something at the power plant this morning. Well, this is a pleasant surprise. I suppose the two of you can come in since you came all this way. The two make their way to my living room, with the boar brushing precariously close by my bookcase. Hey, not too close to the books. That bookcase probably costs more than you think. Dude, it's so cool. I wish I had nice things like these. Yo, what's that over there? The boar points to the toaster in the kitchen. That's a toaster? Wow, but it's not like just any toaster. You have the fancy ones. I've been trying to save up for one of those. Fancy? What are you talking about? This piece of trash can't even heat evenly. I don't know. Yours is so shiny. Right. Well, the two of you can have a seat while I get you two something to drink. Water's fine. The boar nods happily at Theodore. Yeah, same for me, dude. I step over to the kitchen for a second before walking back and handing over the two gentlemen their cups. So, how is he? Ro, I mean. He's awake now, but good. A wave of relief washes over me, knowing that Ro is okay. I was worried he wasn't gonna make it. Yeah, he's... never mind. How have you been? What did you manage to find out when you were with Magnus that night? I shake my head, rolling my head as I do, when the thought of Magnus pops back into my mind. Magnus needed someone as a witness for the contract that he was signing at a business party. Interestingly enough, I think I saw no tell there. Didn't we meet his son when we were trying to infiltrate the storage room? You did? David was there too? Not that I could tell. It was mainly filled with people in suits and faces that I couldn't recognize. But I'm pretty certain that I spotted no tell. So, what was this contract for? Why were you needed as a witness? I thought that he needed someone smart. It didn't seem that important, just some investment policies. It seemed like Magnus is trying to expand his wealth into other companies. The only thing that I managed to learn is that the person who set up the meeting with Magnus at the speakeasy was called Helix. Helix? Not Felix? Helix. This leads me to believe that it's some kind of code name. Oh, Helix. That's a cool name. I feel like I've heard that kind of name before. Nah, false alarm. Hey, that reminds me. I remember some stuff back at the power plant and I thought that you might want to hear it. I roll my eyes at the boar. I guess I can hear him out. Yes? What is it? I watch Monty carefully as he starts to get up from his seat. Okay, so there I was in the power plant, being escorted inside by Snowy. But there was like this huge 18-wheeler that was being loaded in with a bunch of big boxes. I remember one of the workers there accidentally dropped one of them and it made a loud thud, and then Snowy snapped at them. I stroke my chin, deliberating if this piece of information is relevant or not. But we didn't see any truck that size when we were there. Not to mention that, but have you seen the news recently? Apparently the police have started their investigation into the power plant since yesterday afternoon. What do you think this means? Nothing good. Due to the circumstances and timing and how things played out that day, no one should have tipped off the authorities considering that place has been abandoned. So like, the police shouldn't have known about it? Well, let's break it down. It wouldn't make sense for Blackout to report this, and if it wasn't us, then the only possibility is that another unknown party informed the police about this. They must have known about Blackout, and they also must have known that they were at the power plant. You don't think it's another rival gang that reported them, do you? I think you mentioned something like this before. I don't know. Maybe. Possibly. I need to look into that, but I currently have my paws tied with the amount of work that I need to do. Oh, that's fine. I was thinking that I could look into it if you were busy. No, that won't be necessary. I think that it would be best if you didn't involve yourself with this anymore. What? But why? I thought that we were trying to figure this stuff out. Wouldn't it make sense if we investigate this, especially since it's so closely related to what happened with me and Ro? Yes, I agree, but... And what about the snow leopard that got away? The three of us were there that night in the alleyway, and I'm pretty sure that he was the main target. Confusion strikes across my face. Lawrence never mentioned this to me. He wouldn't have known. I never told him. I was going to tell you when you visited me at the hospital, but you left so quick. I didn't get the chance. If only I hadn't smashed my phone that night. I would have used a proxy to call you afterwards. I see. My mind flicks briefly to the now useless phone sitting disassembled at my desk. Unfortunately, even if that were the case, you wouldn't be able to reach me. Ever since the investigation at the power plant, my phone has been acting up. My assumption is that Javier, please. From the corner of my eye, I catch Monty's eyes glaze over and stop myself from explaining further. But I digress. In short, my phone is also broken. To avoid further confusion, I suppose that this would be the appropriate time to fill me in on what I missed. And then I can ask Ro to report his side of the story later this week. I don't think that's possible. And why's that? I thought that you said that he was awake. Tiger looks nervously at the board before returning his gaze to me. I don't know how to bring this up, so I'll just say it. He has amnesia. Amnesia? You're kidding, right? How is that possible? How can amnesia is usually triggered by... Are you sure that it's not something else and he was misdiagnosed? I step back in disbelief at what I'm hearing. The tiger shakes his head and starts to tear up. I wish. He couldn't even remember his name. Yo, it'll be okay. He'll remember eventually, right? Isn't that what the doctor said? I don't know. It might take months, and I read some people might even go their entire life without remembering. I feel my chest tighten as the reality begins to sink in all at once. Javier, I really need your help. I need to figure out who was responsible for shooting us that night. I can't help you guys. What? Why not? I thought that we were onto something. If we can just figure out more about the snow leopard, we might have a chance at figuring out who was behind all of this, while the leads are still fresh. Please, we have to do this for Ro. Before you say anything else, I need to let you know that I voided the contract that you signed 2 days ago. What? I can't have you working with us anymore. It's too dangerous. Too dangerous? So what? You're just gonna investigate without me? Yes, eventually. But it seems like the focus has shifted. And before you say anything else, remember that the main goal of the investigation was to find details about the harbor fire. That being said, Lawrence found the survivor the other night at the speakeasy. He did? But he left soon after you went with Magnus. It doesn't matter now. What matters is that we have a strong lead of the survivor's whereabouts. Prioritizing that over other leads that we have is the right course of action. Well, what about the... Listen, Theodore. I don't want to sound harsh or unreasonable. I'll look into Blackout as soon as I track down the survivor and get the necessary information from them. And how long is that going to take? If I depart tomorrow and if everything goes smoothly, it might take an entire day. But these things rarely go without a hitch. The survivor may not be home, or I might have to do a stakeout that could take a week. And then I have to spend the day after that processing. Javier, that's going to take too long. I have to leave soon. And not only that, if we don't act soon, we might never figure out who did this. Applying your same reasoning, if I don't act soon, this survivor may slip away from us again. And what does that have to do with you? Do I have to remind you that you're not affiliated with us anymore? The only reason that I even let you in was so that you could get your stuff and leave. You didn't even check up on us afterwards. Ro could have died. His words strike me unexpectedly, but they're true, and he's absolutely right. Theodore, your own friend got shot and you don't even want to find out why. Do you not care about us? About Ro? Yo, guys. No need to be so uptight, right? We're all chill here. Right? Javier, please. Think about it. This can't all be one big coincidence, can it? The text, the storage, the power plant, how there was Magnus and the snow leopard at the speakeasy. And then we got targeted right afterwards. Think about it, please. Unfortunately, you can't actually think about it, because the path is currently unimplemented. I will say that it kind of feels like the story is being directed in a certain direction right now to leave it a mystery, and then afterwards the other paths will be like revealed, I guess, which will have more of the information that is currently being withheld. Because if this is a mystery visual novel, then that kind of feels like it would make more sense, especially based on the visual novels that it's based on. And something just went into my eye. Ow. I close my eyes and let out a deep sigh. He's wrong. I can't let this opportunity pass to find the survivor. Theodore, you wouldn't understand the importance of our work. You're just a kid. Theodore, please listen to me because I understand how you feel. Once I figure things out and gather the information on the survivor, I will look into the other leads that we've established. You can leave the work to me. You're not trained for this, but I am. Does that make sense? I get it. But he saved my life, Javier. Ro took all the shots for me. You weren't even there. You didn't even know what it was like. Do you have any idea how important finding out the truth is to Ro and I? I need to figure it out. I need to help somehow. I shake my head, my eyes furrowed in annoyance. You clearly don't understand the gravity of our situation. I told you before, Theodore, this is not a game. Stop treating him like one. You could die. So what? Ro could have died saving me, but he did it anyway. I'm willing to die looking for the answer. What are you even saying? Are you insane? Do you hear yourself? We have priorities, Theodore. Ro is not in any danger anymore. Get a grip. So, if Ro was dead, then you'd help me? Is that what you're saying? No. I care. Stop twisting my words. You're emotionally unwell and acting erratic. I agree. What are you even going to do once you figure it out? It's not like you can do anything about it. That's why I need you to help me. Please, Javier. Why are you so impatient? We have rules. We have procedures. It's not that I'm impatient. It's that I care. So you're saying that I don't care about Ro then? That's what it looks like. If you did, you would have come back and checked up on Ro. But neither you nor Lawrence did. You don't even care about us. That's why you left so quickly. You're no better than Lawrence. I grind my fangs together, enraged by his snide remark. Take that back. Why? Because you know it's true? Furious, I grab a cushion and lob it as hard as I can at the tiger. That's it. Get your shit and get out of my house. You've been nothing but a distraction since you first appeared. Fine. You know what? It's fine that you don't give two shits about Ro. At least I do. Er, um. Get out. Theodore, wait up. The Fox Boys had to kill me. My rage slowly subsides, and I can feel my entire body tremble as I feel tears flowing down my face. I remove my glasses, setting them aside as I lie motionless on the sofa, utterly drained. You can hate me all you want, Theodore. I know what's best. Thanks for helping me to get back. I would have been so lost without your help. Hey, don't mention it, dude. The bus routes here are a nightmare. I got lost on them all the time in the beginning. I guess I'll take it from here. Thanks for everything, Monty. Hey, Theo? You're not serious about tracking down Snowy, are you? I am. I feel like if I can track him down, I'll be able to learn more about who's targeting him. I guess. But you know, I'm not saying that I agree with the Fox kid, but he has a point. What are you even gonna do when you find him? He knows what we both look like. It's not like you can just say, yo, dude, why were those people shooting at you to him? Yeah, you're right. But he also did mention that he was on our side. And if that's the case, the enemy of the enemy is our friend, right? Even if he's a good guy, you really think that he's gonna help us? I don't know. But if I find him, the only option that I have is to just ask him. If I figure it out, I can document everything and pass it on to the others at ARC. Then, whenever Ro recovers his memory, he and Javier can just look into it. Man, when you put it like that, I guess it makes more sense. But this sounds so impossible. But wait, I don't get it. Why not just let Foxboy do it again? He doesn't want to help us. You heard him. He wants to look into the survivor, and by the time Javier gets to this, I'm almost positive all the leads will be cold. Dude, it's still so dangerous. Fidgeting with his shirt, the boy gives me a sheepish grin. Uh, okay, but I promised that I'd help, so I guess I'll stay true to my word, dude. What? I know Rose saved your life, and you guys technically saved mine. I don't really want to do it, but it feels like the right thing to do, dude. He takes a deep breath before puffing out his chest. Even though I already said it in the hospital, I'll say it again. I'm gonna help you, dude. I smile at Monty, elated by his change of heart. You will? But when I asked you on the bus earlier, you said that you didn't want to get involved. Nah, I changed my mind. I'll tag along with you. You guys are good people and saved my life, so I guess I don't mind. Hey, I'm also really curious about why they texted me and how Snowy is related to Blackout. Maybe we can find out why if we see him? But don't expect me to do anything crazy. I'm just a big chunk of meat. I don't even know how to throw a punch. That's okay. I'd appreciate the help, honestly. I don't think that I could handle this alone. But didn't you say that you needed to get back to the hospital so the doctors can do some tests on you? I'll go back later this evening. It should be okay. You know, schedule doctor's appointments, you can miss them and nothing happens. Hee. So, what's the plan? How are we gonna look for Snowy? I have a couple of ideas, but I'm not really sure how solid any of them are. First things first, I should probably drop off my stuff. Sounds good to me, dude. How's your leg, though? Do you need any help lugging that to your room? He points to the suitcase in my paw, his expression turning into a frown as he notices my leg. Yeah, that would be great. Monty effortlessly takes my luggage and marches forward before turning back, realizing he doesn't know where to go. Whoops, lead the way. I can't believe it's almost been a week since I checked in. It feels so weird walking down these halls again. There it is, 2707. I rummage through my pockets, pull out my keycard, and tap it against the keypad. I try to turn the handle but encounter an odd resistance. That's weird. It feels like the door handle's stuck. Huh? Really? Let me try. Monty grips the handle, jiggles it around, and then, with a dull, popping noise, pushes the door open. Whoops. Er, I don't think that's supposed to happen. Did I break it? I jiggle the handle. Nothing odd in particular now that the door is open. What happened to the door? Never felt like that before. Maybe it was a house cleaning or something? I shrug and enter the room with Monty trailing behind. Dude, this place is amazing. How'd you manage to afford a place like this? Oh, there was a special. Holy smokes, look at the bathroom. It's made out of marble. Dude, what? The boy starts poking around the bathroom, then to the closets before sitting down on the bed, his eyes full of wonder. Oops, don't mind me if I look around and take some pics. This place is so swanky. He takes out his shiny new phone and starts snapping photos around the room. Yo, you bet I'm showing my friends. They're gonna be so shocked when they realize I'm fancy living. As he whirls around, his phone flashing with every shutter, my attention is drawn to the small glint near the hotel intercom by my nightstand. What was that? Hey, wait, Monty. Can you take a photo of that intercom over there? Following my pointing direction, he gives me a confused look. Oh, yeah, sure, no problem, dude. I guess even the intercoms are fancy here. The flash goes off again, revealing the same glint from one of the intercom buttons. What the hell? Did you see that? By the intercom. I walk over and poke at the button. There is a small black dot in the middle of it. Is this? Is there a camera inside there? A camera? Let me see. He stumbles over and taps the button before trying to pinch at it. Monty suddenly pulls out the button cap to reveal another beneath it, this time without the dot. Hey, what do you know? It is a camera. He smiles at it before I finally snatch it from his paw. This is just like the cameras Ro found before in the bathroom. What the hell is this doing here? I gaze at Monty with concern, but it seems that he doesn't fully comprehend how unsettling this is. I don't know. Has it always been there? I don't know. Maybe? I'm not sure. I stare at the button cap, disbelief washing over me as I decide to crush it in my paws. There. Oops. What did you do that for? Doesn't that belong to the hotel? It better not, because why would the hotel be spying on their guests? More than likely, I feel like someone placed this here. I just don't know when and why. Whoa, I just got chills. You don't think that they came into your room recently? Maybe. I was in the hospital for a couple of days. They could have come in any time since then. We stare at each other in silence. Monty looks more baffled than worried, unlike me. I'm getting a bad feeling about this. Yo, I don't want to scare you because you look kind of spooked right now. But if that's a hidden camera, what if there's more? Or even hidden mics? In a panic, I look around, trying to identify any potential locations for more spyware. You're right. You think that I could ask the hotel staff to switch me to another room? Hey, that's not a bad idea. I mean, they better let you, or else I'm gonna give them a piece of my mind. Haha. Right. Okay, let's get the hell out of here. I'm getting more paranoid by the second staying in here. And that's actually where I'm gonna leave it for today. So, Theodore found a listening device or viewing device, video recording device in his hotel room. I kind of have a. I kind of feel like he wasn't supposed to return to the hotel room. Um, by which I mean that it was agreed upon that yeah, he would stay with Javier, but that that he no longer had the room, or did he? I might be misremembering this, but I remember that it was agreed that he would not be needing the hotel room anymore, so it was canceled or something. I forget. Um, I mean, it's good that Monty was there to take pictures randomly of the hotel room, and they were able to catch the video thing so that nobody would be able to spy on him, which is weird. Like, why would you spy on him? But then again, it's very weird that, he would be contacted by these random people to do stuff. Like him of all people, like him. Um I do agree with Javier in saying that like dude, what in the world are you thinking? Like sure, I get that you want to help, particularly because you have become weirdly invested in my friend's well-being and then figuring out what happened. But like you are not trained like we are, much less Javier, who is like, I guess you could say, mm, compared to like what Ro can do, he's like, he- they're different, like night and day. But like you're just a civilian. You're the only reason that you were tagging along in the first place was because we had a contract signed where like if something happens to you, then like that's your fault. Um, but in reality, like already had like mixed feelings about you being involved to begin with. So, like, why are you involved again? Um, I get the fact that like yeah, like he was being targeted by these people who we still don't really know anything about, and he feels somehow indebted to Ro. And it is true that technically speaking, if he wasn't there, none of what happened would have happened. Ro would not have been shot. Javier would not have been just sitting there worried and then just trying to sink into his work to try to figure out things his own way, because I kind of feel that that's what Javier is doing. I don't believe that what Theo said is true, where it's like, oh, well, you didn't even bother to check in on it. You don't care about Ro, blah, 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 blah. He's just saying that because he's emotional. Ha- I kind of get the feeling that Javier he knows that he can't really do anything about Ro at this moment. Like, what is he gonna do? He's gonna suddenly get a medical degree and fix Ro? No. He has, sorry to say, but he has a job to do, which is to figure out what's going on and to do, the research and all that other stuff, because that is technically the only thing he can do at the moment. And then you might say, like, oh, well, this is what, Theo can do at the moment. He can try to help by trying to track down some leads or something like that, but like, he doesn't have any formal training in investigation and stuff like that. So like, mm, like if anything, he's gonna he's gonna get himself killed, or maybe not killed, but maybe put into a worse situation. So it is a little ironic me saying this, because at the beginning of the story, I did feel that it was more focused on Ro than it was on Theo, considering the fact that he is supposed to be like the main character, and then you're focusing on the supporting character. Well, I guess you could call him a. Well, no, it felt like like the other Maroon Wolf was the intended main character, and we just have this guy you know, doing that. But now that he is the one that's doing the investigation and everything, it feels like, oh, you are woefully underprepared for this. Um, I still stand that the story does feel better now that he is the one that's trying to do the investigation, but like, dude, you have to know your limits, you know. But I also feel like that is what is supposed to happen though. At least at the way that the story is written. That we are supposed to see things from his point of view without any real help, because let's face it, Monty, what is he gonna do? He does offer some insight here and there, but he is also uh, sick. You know, he also has his things to worry about, and he's not worrying about them because he wants to help this guy. And I kind of feel like that's gonna come back and bite the boar in the butt. But we'll see. Hintity hint hint. Um, what else? I do feel that Lawrence sort of coming in and just sort of derailing Javier's investigation is a little suspicious. There's a helicopter flying overhead right now. You probably can't hear it, but I can. It's very annoying. Um, but back to Lawrence. It does feel a little, but yeah, like suspicious. Like, you came now of all times derail the investigation that Javier was doing. Like, if Lawrence didn't show up and and Javier spoke to Theo without, having Lawrence's input, perhaps the conversation might have gone a little different. Perhaps Javier might be a bit more inclined to help Theo, but I kind of feel that has to be more his, um like, it has to come from Javier himself. It can't be influenced or not influenced by Lawrence. I kind of feel like, despite that though, he did influence the decision making process, because although it is true, Theo should not be doing this right now. He should just stay with, Ro. That's it, because that's really all you can do. um I mean, eh, I am looking forward to seeing what happens as this story progresses, at least as this route progresses, because the way that I see it is the story is being written out a specific way at first, and then when this, I guess you could say, um, this route with these choices, which are currently presented to us right now, which are currently available, ends, we will get to see what happens we'll get to see what happens when the other choices are presented, which means that I'm gonna have to reread a lot of things again. And that will include what happens if Javier decides, you know what, Theo, you're right. We should focus on the people that decided to attack you two, and we should focus on finding out, who the snow leopard is and what he knows, etc., etc., etc. But for now, I will admit that I do like the way that the story is progressing though, because it does feel like one of those other visual novels where you do have to reread the story, but with different choices in order to get the bigger picture. Right now, we're getting the picture where it's only Theo who's doing any of the investigation, and again, he has no formal training, he has no investigative license, and I'm pretty sure anything he would find might be inadmissible in a court of law. So, like, especially if, like, oh, I'm gonna give it to Javier and Ro, when they're able to. It's like, okay, but like, when they're asked where they got this information, they're gonna have to lie or tell the truth, and it's gonna be like, well, who is this person and how did they attain it? Anyways, but yeah, so enough rambling. Tell me what you think in the comments, and thank you all for watching/listening. If you would like to play Rain Check yourself, you can do so by going down into the link in the description, which should have a direct link for the itch.io page where you can download the game and play it yourself, or you can just go to itch.io and download it yourself. I will also be posting down a link for their Patreon where you can get early access to builds of Rain Check, and they are coming by a little faster than usual, than most visual novels, which is good. Um, But yeah, I'm pretty sure that they also have other stuff, like maybe behind the scenes works in progress type of stuff. But yeah, so you can find that out yourself. Subscribe to their Patreon, give them money, and yeah, all the other pertinent links are down in the description. My throne, my coffee, whatever you want. It's all down in the description. And I guess that's it for now, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.